Kansas City Chiefs beat the Denver Broncos 30-27 in overtime on Sunday Night Football. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. We had a hell of a game here on primetime television as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Denver Broncos 30-27 to ultimately end all of this nonsense talk about, the NFL primetime games have been awful. They've been very good lately. This game is going to be highly rated. The ratings, by the way, have been skyrocketing ever since the election ended. And if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been tweeting. The only reason the ratings have been low for the NFL this year, people are paying attention to the election. Ratings for CNN and Fox News and MSNBC are up, and this happens every 4 years. But then after the election, people go back to football, and they're watching football, and they definitely watched this game, as this was pretty much an instant classic. I mean, after the first half, you thought this is going to be a defensive battle, but we had a shootout that broke out in the second half as we saw consecutive scoring drives from both of these teams to end this game. And ultimately, though, the Kansas City Chiefs pulled this one out. I didn't think they could do it. I had the Broncos winning this game. And then when the Broncos went out 24-16 and Alex Smith had one more opportunity to go down the field and win the game, I didn't think he could do it. I knew there was a chance, but I really didn't think he'd do it. And even if he did, I really didn't think they'd even convert the 2-point conversion, because this is a Broncos team that continuously last year, when they needed to make a play to win a football game defensively, they made plays to win football games defensively. And even if you go down there and score a touchdown, they're going to give it all they have on that 2-point conversion, and you won't be able to convert that. And then when they went to overtime, when the Broncos went up by 3 points there and the Chiefs had an opportunity to go down the field, I didn't think they were going to do it then. But time and time again, Alex Smith proved me wrong. And man, he just kept going down the field. Both of these quarterbacks, they're not great quarterbacks, but today we have to sit back and we have to appreciate the performances they put out. Especially, let's start with Trevor Siemian, who probably had the best game of his very young career. This man was on fire as I pull up his statistics today. 3 touchdowns for Trevor Siemian, 0 interceptions. He was 20 of 34. That's about a little under 60%, I believe. But 368 yards. You look at his passer rating of 125, and he got sacked 5 times, and he was under constant pressure. But what I really loved about his performance, if you watch the game, this guy was so good at moving around, evading pressure when possible, extending the plays, making plays. I believe it was Jim Rome, Fox News or wherever he is now, saying, look, Trevor Siemian, he was on Twitter. He didn't actually say this, but this is how I envisioned him saying it. Trevor Siemian, this guy's the next Joe Montana. Okay, I don't know about that, but he looked like John Elway, if anything, out there in a Broncos jersey, running around like an idiot. I'll give him that, but let's not overreact. He's still Trevor Siemian, but it was a very good performance for him, going up against this tough Chiefs defense, to be sacked 5 times and still to have 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and to extend plays the way that he did. He gets an A from me. Great job by Trevor Siemian. And you can see today, I've been buying his chances or their chances of winning a Super Bowl with this guy. But after today, I'm starting to buy it a little bit. But now the defense got me a little bit concerned in the game. We're going to get into that. You look at their running game, pretty much non-existent. Devontae Booker just couldn't do anything against this Chiefs front. This Chiefs front was tough. You look at Emmanuel Sanders. This man showed up today. I think he solidified himself as the number 1 wide receiver, the most dangerous wide receiver on this Broncos team. Yes, Demaryius Thomas has the height and the athleticism. Emmanuel Sanders has the technique and the skill and the hands, and I like him. And the consistency. I like Emmanuel Sanders more than Demaryius Thomas right now. Thomas isn't bad, but I think Sanders is better. Today, Thomas, again, in primetime games, he just doesn't really show up much, especially against good defenses. I mean, he had a big catch in the fourth quarter, but beyond that, not much. Had a nice 24-yard game, but just not much. 60 yards isn't bad, but it just isn't great either. You look at this Broncos offensive line, I mean, they were just absolute trash today, especially in the first half. You look at their defense, though, in the first half. Okay, they were fantastic. Okay, Von Miller, a number of sacks. He ended up with 3 sacks on the evening on a day where Khalil Mack got a pick 6 and a strip sack for the win. Von Miller said, okay, I'll step my game up too. He had 3 sacks to add to his total. He's now at 12.5 sacks on the season. It's going to be very interesting to decide who deserves Defensive Player of the Year, Von Miller or Khalil Mack. I'll leave that up to the voters. Right now, my vote would be for Miller, but Khalil Mack is catching up quickly. Derek Wolfe had a sack today. Shane Ray had a sack today. DeMarcus Ware had a sack today for a total of 6 sacks. You look at their secondary. Chris Harris Jr. had a very good game. He did let up the 2-point conversion to the tight end of the Chiefs that I've never even heard of. Honestly, I don't even know who this guy is, which was unfortunate, but he had a really good game. I mean, just call it what it is. You also saw Aqib Talib had a good game. The cornerbacks are very good. Darren Stewart is very good. TJ Ward had a penalty that I didn't love, but he was good. This secondary was good. Linebackers were okay. The linebackers are going to be great. Inside linebackers, I'm talking about Todd Davis. He's okay at this point. They could expect better from him, but they're not expecting too much from their inside linebackers right now. Brandon Marshall, though, he's also pretty consistent as well. But the problem is I have with this Broncos defense. All right, when we went to overtime and we went in the fourth quarter, you needed to stop Alex Smith, as I said to start this video. This is a defense, the Broncos defense, okay, that had been making a reputation and were just notorious for stopping you when they needed to last year. Oh, okay, Derek Carr, you think you're going to win? Watch as we pick 6 you. Okay, Chiefs, do you think you're going to win? Watch as we strip sack you. Watch as we win this game, all the way to the Super Bowl and win that game. When they needed to play, they played. Okay, and that was their move. Now, they've been doing it this season for the most part, but man, today just did not happen. They let Alex Smith go down the field, score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in overtime, let him go down the field, score a field goal, go down the field, score a field goal. I don't know where they went, honestly. I know what the Chiefs did. They tried to get the ball out of Alex Smith's hands quicker. Okay, and that helped. And Bradley Roby did not have an answer for it. Okay, that's the guy that didn't play well for this Broncos defense in their secondary today. Bradley Roby, the guy out of Ohio State. 3rd or 4th year at this point. We all know he's the worst player in this secondary in terms of starters, if you want to call him a starter. He's a nickel back. But man, he did not play well, and he let up a number of plays. He couldn't guard Tyreek Hill. They begged him, please guard Tyreek Hill. He couldn't do it. And very unfortunate there. He cost them the game. Let's just call it what it is. Very disappointed by Bradley Roby today. Go back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Actually, real quick on the Broncos. Okay, last point, and this is the biggest point. I probably should have led the video with this. Gary Kubiak, okay, he had the decision to make, 27-27. He has the decision. They are at were they at their own? No, they were at the Chiefs, I believe, 44-yard line. Yeah, that's exactly where they were, which means it was going to be a 62-yard field goal to potentially win the game. Okay, with 1 minute and 5 seconds left in overtime, they had one timeout. And no, they actually they had one timeout. They used it at this during this whole transition or transaction or whatever you want to call it. And I felt he made a horrible decision as he decided to kick this field goal. I would have punted it. And this is the argument people are making. Okay, and I disagree with this argument wholeheartedly. Is you don't play to tie the game, you play to win the game. Okay, and I get it. It's very cute. It's very raw, very hard to football spirited tactic. I get it. You play to win the game, right? We all remember that famous speak. You play to win the game, Herm Edwards. But guys, mathematically, statistically, analytically, you cannot explain to me that it made any sense to kick that field goal. The chances of him making this field goal were extremely low. He's never made a field goal like this at this length in his career. It's a cold night, not that windy, but very cold at night, hard football. And you saw when he kicked this thing, he kicked it with all of his might, but because he had all of his might on this, he just couldn't direct it at all. There was no chance of this field goal going in. Maybe, let's say, 20%. I mean, and I'm giving him a lot of credit there saying that. So with that in mind, the chances were 20%. Let's just say that. It's arbitrary, but let's say it's 20%. While if you kick the field goal, to me, there's an 80% chance this game's going to be tied, maybe even 90, okay? Because they're going to get the ball, if you kick it well, if you punt it well, within their own 15-yard line, and your defense should be able to hold them for a minute and 5 seconds because they have a lot of underneath guys, and Alex Smith just can't go down the field that quickly. So I think this is going to be a tie, at least 80% chance to me. You tie the game, okay? That does not hurt you. Guess what? You're still in the wild card spot. Instead, you kick the field goal, you miss, you lose the game, and guess what, guys? As of this moment, the Denver Broncos are out of the wild card spot. The Miami Dolphins have a 5-3 conference record. The Denver Broncos have a 4-3 conference record. The Dolphins are in the playoffs and right now, and the Broncos are out. And that is what you get when you try to play for the win. It didn't make sense. There was no chance. I mean, there was barely any chance of them making this field goal. Take the tie. You're still going to be in a playoff spot. That tie will do you justice later on. Now you're talking about, okay, I lost another conference game. I lost another divisional game. I lost another huge game. I'm not going to win the division. I'm in big trouble in terms of the wild card spot. The loss here was so hurtful. You need to take the tie. If you are a 5-5 team, you need the win. You don't need no ties. When you are very good, when you're above 500, very much so, when you're 7-3, ties are nice, okay? We want to avoid losses as much as possible. We'll take every tie we can get at this point. That needs to be the philosophy. Just mathematically, that's just true. And Gary Kubiak and the rest of these football heads, they can talk about football and win. We need to win. Tie would have helped you here. You would have been still in good company, good chances to make the playoffs, make the wild card. You still have a good chance, but better chance. Definitely take the tie. Punt that football. Huge mistake there. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? And let me tell you something about Tyreek Hill. Remember, when I went after the 2016 NFL draft, I made my draft recaps. And I looked at every prospect in this draft, okay? At least every player that was taken in this draft. And I looked at Tyreek Hill, and I knew he could play, right? This is a guy that has came out of a college that was very unheralded, a guy that was very good athletically. But I heard about, okay, he choked his girlfriend out and he pleaded guilty, okay? And I said, he's off my board. And when the Chiefs took him, I think I gave them a D or a D- or something like that because he was off my board. I thought it was a liability, and maybe he'll prove to be. But man, he's a good player, man. And he came through for them today. He had a punt return for a touchdown after the safety. He had the game-winning touchdown, or game-tying touchdown, I guess you could say. Actually, it wasn't even the game-tying. But it led to the game-tying two-point conversion. So let's call it the game-tying touchdown. Can we just call it that? Okay, we'll call it that. So he had a great game, man. He's been a great rookie for this football team, and they've needed him. Jeremy Maclin is out for weeks upon weeks. They need him to step up, but he's stepping up. Do I regret not having him on my board? I don't know. I mean, he's still a little bit of a liability because, maybe tomorrow he'll wake up and he'll go choke somebody at Kroger. I mean, who knows, right? So he's still a little bit of a liability to me. I didn't get to sit down and interview him. If I was like a GM for an NFL or a coach, then I hear he's a nice guy, but man, that scared me. But I will give him credit. He is playing well, and you have to give him credit for that. You look at, special teams, it's crazy. They have DeAnthony Thomas, who, remember this guy in college for Oregon? This guy was one of the best kick returners we've ever seen. They have DeAnthony Thomas and Tyreek Hill back there. They put effort into the special teams. And, Chris Collinsworth, this guy, God, I hate Chris Collinsworth. Not too much, but I dislike him from time to time, especially when he becomes a quarterback apologist, which he was tonight in the middle of this game. When it brings me to nauseum just thinking about what he said. He said this, and I'll bring out my Chris Collinsworth voice for this. Man, I gotta tell you, Alex Smith, he's played well tonight. All you need to do if you're Alex Smith is you gotta just give your defense and special teams a chance to win the game. And he's done that tonight. Are you out of your mind? Are those the standards for Alex Smith? Give your defense and your special teams a chance to win the game. Do those rules apply to any quarterback in the league? They shouldn't apply. And they almost lost the game under that philosophy. But what happened, Chris Collinsworth? Pay attention now, bud. When he actually decided, oh, wait a minute, I can win this game. I'm a quarterback. It's on me. Guess what? They won the game. Because the defense and the special teams, they're never going to be good enough. I mean, maybe you'll win 1 or 2 games here. You have to go down the field and score touchdowns. And he scored a touchdown, and he scored a field goal, and he scored a field goal, and he won the game. That's what you do, and that's what he did, okay? And that's why they won the game. Chris Collinsworth, dude, you're okay. And, Mike Tirico's black ass is next to you now. You guys are developing some sort of chemistry, which is good. But, dog, stop being such a quarterback apologist. They need to go down the field and score. And why did they win this game? Because ultimately, that's what he did. And yeah, they won the game. You look at Justin Houston. This guy's back. He came back today, had 3 sacks today. He's saying, wait a minute. Y'all are talking about Von Miller. Y'all are talking about Khalil Mack. Don't forget about me, Justin Houston, as he had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, and a pass defense. Welcome back, Justin Houston. Eric Berry had a number of tackles. Raheem Nunez Roches showed up. This was one of my favorite picks of the Chiefs draft last year, and he is showing up now as well. So there you go. And Chris Jones also had a nice pass defense, and he needs to step up and play better in the future. When we look at both of these teams moving forward, and we'll do this somewhat quickly because I think I've been here too long, to be quite honest with you. Let's move on to the Chiefs first. And, I was concerned with this team because they had lost to the Bucs last week. They've been winning a little bit fraudulently for my liking. But I said if they can win 1 game against the Broncos, they're fine. Now they won their game against the Broncos, and I believe that they're fine. They'll beat the Tennessee Titans. I'm a Titans fan. You're going to beat us, okay? So that's fine. You're going to have to win 1 more, just to make sure you make the playoffs. I'm sure you will. Probably against the Broncos, maybe again. Although I'm sure they'd probably get revenge now that I think about it. But maybe because the Broncos, maybe because the Chargers. But make sure you get that 1 more. You should. But, man, this schedule is difficult at Atlanta versus the Raiders. Raiders want revenge, and they're road warriors, the Raiders are. Versus the Titans, which I think you'll win. Versus the Broncos, they'll be looking for revenge as well at the Chargers to end the season. So you're not out of the water yet. But you're almost there, okay? I needed to see you guys beat the Broncos once. You did it once, so that's good. We look at the Denver Broncos. And now, will you make the playoffs? You should. Okay, next week you go at Jacksonville. Here's my thing with Jacksonville right now. I think they're dangerous. They're not good. They suck, right? But it's very dangerous to believe, okay, as an NFL fan or analyst or whatever, it is very dangerous to believe that the Browns, the 49ers, the Jaguars, the Bears are all going to lose out. It's not going to happen, okay? These bad teams are going to win some games, okay? Amongst them, maybe 3, okay? Maybe even 4. So, sooner or later, the Jags are going to win a game, okay? Especially the Jags. Of all the ones I just said, the Jags are the most likely. I think the 49ers are going to win 1, 2 coming up, so look out for those. The Jags are going to beat somebody, so make sure you don't sleep on. You should beat them, okay? The Blake Bortles is a loser. I talk about this every week. God, he's such a loser. So he's going to throw some interceptions to you. You should win the game. Just don't sleep on him. Then add the Titans, and you should beat the Titans, but don't sleep on them either, man. In fact, both these back-to-back road games, you might lose one of those. They're easy teams, I get it, but you need to be careful. You host the New England Patriots, tough. I have you guys winning this one, but you're not going to win all of these. Out of these 3, you're definitely going to lose 1. At the Chiefs, you should want to get revenge. And then versus the Raiders. So I still think you'll make the playoffs. I mean, I can see 3 wins here pretty easily. But got to take care of business, okay? I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. It's been your move to take care of business throughout your entire reign under Gary Kubiak and even back to your reign under John Fox, right? So this shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure you get it done. The Dolphins are good. They're going to lose some games, Probably. They've won 6 straight. They've been very good, but they're probably going to lose some games. So just look out, though. It's going to get very interesting. It is why you should have took the tie. Because if you took the tie, we didn't have this conversation. I think you guys would definitely be in the playoffs. You'd have no conversation. We'd be talking about the playoffs when it comes to the Denver Broncos. Now, my eyebrow is raised. And we're going to see what happens as these weeks progress. Real quick, why not? It's late at night. I don't care. Let me look at this upcoming Dolphins schedule because I want to know how they fit into this puzzle. So the Dolphins, they have to go at Baltimore. And I think Baltimore's going to win this, but man, the Dolphins are hot, so we'll see. They host the Arizona Cardinals, tough. They go to the New York Jets. And the Jets stink, but the Jets have been known to beat the Dolphins. At the Bills, and then versus the Patriots. I still project losses here for the Dolphins, 2, maybe even 3. So you guys should be fine, both of you, okay? Because the Dolphins here, I think their schedule is tough. I think it's the toughest of all the ones I just said because I still don't trust them to win these divisional matchups. We'll see. But yeah, ultimately, I think both these teams will be fine. But Broncos, you should have took the tie. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Sunday Night Football game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. Where do you are? Comment down below. I want to know if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. I've been on my grind lately. If you haven't noticed, I'm sure you've been enjoying it. I know I have. And there you go. Until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.